Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're going to be looking at every Batman figure that we've gotten from DC Universe Classics or DC Superheroes lines or their sublines, as long as they are made in this style of figure. There were plenty of Batman figures from the DC Superheroes line that didn't have all of the articulation and were kind of a different style, so I'm not including those, and I'm not including other figures like the Movie Masters or the new Injustice Batman figure because one, I don't like them at all, and two, they're not this style. So these are any of the DC lines that are similar in style, loaded with articulation, and built in this variety of figure. This is all of them as far as I know. I don't think I've missed any. If I did, let me know, but I really don't think I did. So, I don't really know how to do this. There's just too many darn figures. So what I'm going to do is just point out which is which first, and we'll go from there. On both end caps right here we have the Batman Beyond Batman, which is technically Batman, so I had to include him. Then right behind him we have the two different Azrael Batmans, the red and gold, and then the blue and lighter gold. Maybe it's the same gold, I don't know. So those are kind of separate because they're not really the same, and I guess the one in the back right there with the red and yellow, he's technically not the same either, but I wanted to include him because he is technically a Batman figure. Top right we have the Yellow Lantern Batman. He has a few different molded parts in his belt and his gauntlets. They have like kind of bands built into them, so he looks a little bit different. Otherwise the only difference for him is that he has the I just took a dump face, which is the same as that one right there. We'll zoom in so you can see. So that's the face on that one and on that one. I don't care for that face. They didn't do a real good job of sculpting it, I don't think. So I don't really care for that a whole lot. Let's go back to talking about which Batman is which. The three in the front are the DC Superheroes Batman figures, which I think are the best Batman figures by and large. Of course, there are issues with any figure, but these three are just exceptionally good figures. They have great sculpts, great paint applications. We have the blue and gray, the black and gray, which they're basically the same. They have different belts. Otherwise, it's just a different paint scheme. And then we have the all black Night Shadow, I believe, Night Shadow Batman. He has the same belt as the first one and a different face. It's just sculpted over to have the cowl block his face. So that's really cool. Some people don't like it, but those are the three DC Superheroes, which I'll say right now, they're my favorites. I like those better than all the rest, but there are plenty of good ones elsewhere. As far as the rest of the figures, there are a few different odds and ends, and I'm going to continue to point them all out. But first, I just want to note that all of the DC Universe Classics Batman figures, all of the plain old original style Batman figures, no matter what color scheme, they'll have the exact same head. The only ones that have different heads other than Poopy Face Batman is the Public Enemy set, which is right here. They have the animated looking heads. The New 52, of course, has the shorter ears for the cowl. That's the difference for him. The Young Justice one has a new sculpt altogether. And then all the ones in the back have different heads because they are different Batman figures. So, as you saw, the Yellow Lantern one has the poopy face. Then we have the Planet X Batman with a completely new head sculpt. The whatever Silver Age Batman, maybe it's Golden Age, I don't know, with the shorter ears and the chubbier face. Then we have the Dark Knight Returns Batman with the really chubby face, and the super retro, whatever age that is, Batman with the really spread out ears. Otherwise, they all have the same heads. I guess it's fair to point out that the Batman Returns Batman has its own unique head. If we can focus on that. Really, really cool figure. Really like that. And then, of course, we have the variant with the Terry McGinnis head. So those are all very good. Now we can continue pointing out which is which. This black and gray Batman here is from the Dynamic Duo 2-pack. This one is the exact same figure with a different belt, a better belt. He was released as a single carded figure, I believe. These are all DC Universe Classics, by the way, this batch here. I choose that one over that one just because, as you can see, the belt is much better looking. He's got the golden colored belt with the painted buckle, and this one has no paint on the belt at all. So there's that. Then we have the two yellow round symbol chested Batmans. the regular release one, and then we have the Clayface 2-pack figure. Personally, I just think that's a crappy figure. See what I did there? It's actually not. It's a fine figure. It just has it's the exact same figure actually with the brown paint on it. So not much to say there. The face is a little lighter, or a little darker, I mean, but those are the same figure. So hey, I just noticed that one has a black outline on the symbol, so there's a little bit of a difference there. But I can't imagine anybody's gonna pick that one over that one because it has the Clayface on him. This one over here is a single carded figure. He is the only all black Batman figure that we've ever gotten that is in the traditional Batman design. The one down here, of course, doesn't count because that's the special cowled face and everything like that. But this one is, like I said, the only all black Batman. So that one has its own special value in that it's unique. So I would recommend you pick that up if you can. It also comes with some cool accessories. They all have different batches of accessories, by the way. But if I showed you all of that, we would never finish this video. Alright, so moving on, we have the first release of the DC Universe Classics Batman. That's the blue and gray version, which is the only plain old blue and gray version of Batman that we've gotten from DC Universe Classics. So there's that one. He has the black shaded face, which is cool, and he's got the round symbol with the black outline on the chest. The only other one that's anywhere close to that is the one that came in the Azrael 2-pack recently, and he has the exact same general color scheme. He doesn't have the shading on the face, obviously, and he has a painted battle damage on his chest where you can see what's supposed to look like blood and torn outfit. There's no black outline on the symbol, and it's a little bit bigger, but otherwise they're the same figure. So kind of like the Clayface 2-pack, I can't imagine anybody picking that as their go-to Batman, so I would go with that one if you like the blue and gray. If you like the black and gray, we'll just do this real quick. Go with that one because he's got the darker belt. And if you like the all black, go with that one over there, which you can't see. Of course, that one's the only one. When it comes to the black and gray, you have the two options really, the yellow symbol and then the no yellow symbol. Personally, I'm a fan of the one on the right, but that's up to you. Alright, let's move on to the figures that aren't necessarily exactly the same as the DC Universe. They're in the sublines and what have you. First we have over here, on the left, the Public Enemy's blue Batman, and then right above it, the black version. So those are both the same figure, just one's blue and gray, one's black and gray. Same chest and everything, same belt. They actually share the same belt as the Dynamic Duo Batman, but that's neither here nor there. So if you want those, they have the animated heads. They don't match any of the other heads. They kind of have the really big chin, which isn't ideal, but it still looks pretty good, and it looks like the cartoon, so I'm okay with it. And then, of course, the blue and gray is up to you. Note that that blue on that Batman is much darker than any of the other blues that are out there. You might not be able to tell due to the lighting, but his is definitely more of like a true, almost a navy blue, and the rest are kind of light. So that's something to note if you are a blue and gray Batman fan like myself. Moving on, we have the Batman Legacy Batman, which is the poopy face. He's actually a repaint of the DCSH Batman down here. So the only difference for him is the paint and then of course the head. So if you like the DCSH Batman, which is exceedingly hard to come by at a good price, you might want to pick up the poopy face and just do a head swap. That's a good option, I think. Moving on, we have the Young Justice Batman, which is cool because he has the shoulder droopy cape, which is unique thus far, and it looks really good. His skin is a little bit pale, which is kind of a downfall for the figure, but he does have the newly sculpted body with the new belt, and he's got all the new 52-esque detailing in the armor, or in the suit. There's little lines throughout, so that's pretty cool. I do like that figure a lot. Then moving over, we have both of the new 52 Batman figures. The original release, which is in the kind of a gunmetal gray, no metallic, but it's that maybe slate color. Really solid figure. He's got a lot of the new sculpting, a lot of the detail work. He has a new belt, a new cape, new gloves, the whole deal. So the new 52 look is working for him very well in this figure. He's got the new shorter ears for the cowl, a square jaw. Really solid figure. If you don't care if it's new 52 or standard classic Batman as far as which one you're going to pick, that's definitely a runner, a front runner in the selection process. And then we have the metallic version down here. A little bit hard to see right now. I'll give you a little bit of a better look. I don't want to topple everything. But he does have the glossy black parts and then the metallic gray parts, which don't necessarily lend themselves to Batman. He's not a flashy character, but that figure does look amazing in person. The metallics and the glosses work really well together. He's a great display piece, so you might consider picking him up. He's a lot cheaper than the regular release because nobody really thought it was going to be a good idea. Turned out it is. Okay, we already talked about the Yellow Lantern Batman a little bit. He's got some newly sculpted parts. Paints are okay, but it's a Yellow Lantern Batman. So unless you're building a Yellow Lantern core or a Green Lantern display or something like that, he's an easy pass. He doesn't have a cool head, and he's not a traditional Batman. Same thing with the Planet X Batman. Probably my least favorite figure out of all of these. The head's too big, and it's just not a cool Batman. I mean, I know it's technically not Bruce Wayne, or at least I think that. Somebody explained it to me. Frankly, it just wasn't interesting to me, so I have it, but I can't recommend it. Then we have this older one, which I don't know which age it is. It's one of the old ages from the Batman Legacy line. His chest is not sculpted, but it's a decent paint job for the Bat logo. He's one of the lighter gray Batmans. As you can tell, some of the grays are a little darker and lighter throughout. It's just kind of hit or miss. That one's pretty light. The blue is pretty light, and he has the shaded face. Decent belt, so he's a fine Batman if you want the smiley-faced Adam West style Batman. He's not Adam West per se. Those are coming out soon, unfortunately. I wish I didn't have to buy those, but whatever. This is a cool Batman, but if you're going to go with a blue and black or blue and gray Batman, I would suggest you choose that one right there. Pretty good. Or if you want to go all the way, get that one, the DCSH. All right, moving on again. We're going to skip that one for now. We're going to move over to the top left corner. We have that other old school Batman. This is the one with the weirdly pointed ears and the pink gloves, and he's the only one also that has the slim body. If you'll notice, his chest is significantly narrower than the rest. He's built on a smaller body all around, and like I said, he has pink gloves and the weird ears. Still a solid figure. He's got the cool cape that goes over his shoulders, but it's also very short. It's quite comic accurate, but it's definitely not a Batman for somebody who doesn't know much about Batman. They're going to think, what the heck, why is he wearing pink, and what's up with his ears? So, cool figure, but it might be a pass for you. And then, lastly, we have the Dark Knight Returns Batman, which is a recent release. It's built on a Motu Classics body, so he's a lot bulkier, and he has a little bit different articulation. Still a really solid figure if you're a fan of the Frank Miller graphic novel or the animated movies that feature this version of Batman. It's a good figure. There's really not much to complain about. The head might be a little bit too big, the hands might be a little bit too small, but definitely a solid figure, especially if you're a fan of the black and gray. I hope they make a blue and gray version because that's my thing. I like the blue and gray. I'm not going to get into the Azrael Batman figures too much because they're really a thing of their own. They have some double jointed parts and some new elbow joints and stuff, but if you want an Azrael figure, these are the ones to get because, or an Azrael Batman figure, they're the only ones, but there's really no comparison value. Both of the Terry McGinnis Batmans are the same other than the head, so again, that's up to you. Otherwise, it's all up to you. If you want my opinion, if you're going DCSH, I would go with that one. But a lot of people like that. They're both good. If you're going DCUC, I would choose either the original release or the one right in front of it. If you want the black and gray, that's the one to get. If you want the blue and gray, that's the one. Or if you're all black fan, that's the only one you get a choice with. If you don't want a classic Batman but want one that's in the newer design, I would go with either of the new 52 Batman figures. The Young Justice one's cool, but the new 52 one is just a little bit better, I think. And if you want to get one that's out of the ordinary, like the Public Enemies or any of the ones in the back, I would go with either of the Public Enemies Batman figures, even though they have the weird faces. They're both really good figures, and they look nice, and the dark blue on that Batman is unique, so I like that one. And there you have it, guys. That's about as much as I can say about these Batman figures without repeating myself and without contradicting myself too much, hopefully. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. If you have any information to add, please do so in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I hope this was informative and helped you decide which Batman figures are right for you. Whew, I'm out of breath. Alright guys, stay tuned for more figure reviews. Custom figures, I do have a bunch that are on the bench that will be done soon, so keep an eye out for those. And as I said, more reviews. So stay tuned for all that good stuff, and in the meantime, keep collecting.